Hi everybody, my name is Bill, and I'm going to make a piece of art for you today. This is me prepping a piece of watercolor paper on my birch board. It allows me to work with the stuff way easier and keep it all stretched out. It's just masking tape I'm laying down right now. So the character I'm going to paint today, a little character I've been working on called Being in Pain. And it is very much a reflection of my own struggles with chronic pain. But it's also a celebration of me coming through the journey of trying to solve my own issues. So being able to communicate to people about what it's felt like to have this kind of unique pain that I've been going through, it's been really isolating, and this little character Bean has been something that's allowed me to connect with the world and in some ways gather support and understanding for a thing that I used to try and over-explain to people. And the conclusion I eventually came to was that if I wanted people to understand what was going on with me and how I was feeling, I was going to have to break it down to a pretty basic, simple kind of set of terms. So that's where Being in Pain came to life. Yeah, this is what we're going to paint today. Is the very first one I did. So we're going to do a larger version of it. All right. So, despite the fact I already have a little sketch done of Being in Pain, I also like to sculpt my little guys. It gives me an actual sense of lighting so I can hold underneath my lamp and really get a sense of the form. So right now, I'm just putting together the general shape and form of Bean and trying to put him into pain. So I'm just going to use a little tool here to put my eyes into him. Poor little dude. There we go. Got some gouged out eyes now. Let's open that mouth just a little bit more for some more sadness. Okay. Shoulder needs to drop just a tiny bit. And there we go. That looks pretty good. So we got a little bean dude. Now I can use him for lighting. Let's see. Oh, I'm going to use my water-soluble graphite. It's a light wash pencil. And it means that any pencil marks I make in drawing right now will wash out a little bit with some of the watercolors and ink I'm going to throw down. So let's see, I always like to go for the base of his body first. So let's see, we're going to make him about this big today. Bulbous little body, and he's got his little arm raised up to his forehead in despair, and his other arm, his shoulder starts about, let's see if his face is here. The mouth there, I think. That's about right. So I'll put his shoulder about. Okay, let's size him down just a tiny bit. We've made him a little bit large. That's okay, he's a bean. And the main theme with Bean is that he's a bean in pain. So anytime I draw being in pain, I think, what is a way that I hurt and is hard to express? And this kind of pose that he's in is the general, my back and my head are hurting at the same time. So let's give him some little feet now. Just little ones. Just a little kick out. Doop. A doop. Because he's essentially a piece of plasticine that's been squished. So I'm allowed to draw it like a squished plasticine. Okay. That looks pretty good for form there. Not half bad. So for a while I was sculpting bean out of my kneaded eraser, which kneaded erasers are really handy for doing little sculpture elements. If you ever need to build a triangle or sorry, a pyramid or a cube to see lighting, use your kneaded eraser and check the tones on it. Clean up just a little bit here so I can pick out which lines I'm going to ink. Because one of the things about creating bean is I'm usually pretty uncomfortable as I'm making bean. So my rib cage is kind of in the wrong spot in my body is what it feels like. So I'm always working against a clock about how long I can sit upright. So I'm always trying to get myself motivated and moving as I'm drawing because I don't know how long it's going to last for each time. Do I want to have some... I think I want to join this leg in. Yeah. That'll look better. Something like that. Yeah. There's a little bit of a gut coming through there. Yeah, that'd be good. Because then I can build my form of his shadow in his body down into here. And I'll give him that three-dimensional element that plops him into our world. Okay, so that's better for the arm. Let's go right for the eyes. And I forgot. I like using a non-sharp pencil because I get more chaotic marks out of it. I don't always want to be precise, especially if I'm trying to build a form with graphite. Okay, let's see, he looks like he's got his weight not quite on his feet, which is always what I want with bean because he needs to be slightly unbalanced and uncomfortable. It's an important part with being in pain. Gotta show the discomfort with him. Actually, I don't know if he's a him. To tell you the truth, I think he's a non-gendered being. I gotta be careful about saying that, about the he. I don't mean it. Alright, that's looking pretty good. So let's see, we're gonna have a little bit of shading. So this is where I gotta check my lighting on my dude. So I drop him onto the light. And I get a similar kind of perspective, so I'll have to drop down to see this. So we have a highlight up in here, and then it goes to a drop crown. Okay, it falls over. Come on, modeling clay bean, stay upright for just a bit. Okay, let's see, and then you come down into this. So that's... Okay, so I've just sort of lightly mapped out some of my zones of my different tones of paint I'm going to use. Or, you know, if I don't, I made a light plan for it. So, this is the part where we get to ink things. Put our little friend over here. Alright, so it's inking time. I really like my, what is this, a Tombow brush pen. This little guy is like a character brush. It's got a little soft rubber tip on it that it wiggles around a lot like a regular brush. So I try to go for as smooth a line as I can with bean, because I'm looking to have as few strokes as possible. So test out the pen first. Oh, here's our bean card. Okay, we got ourselves a pretty good stroke out of that pen. There's no warm up for it, so I think stretch the shoulder, pop things around my rib cage here. I need to buy myself a few minutes of not having to move around too much. Okay. As soon as the hand stops buzzing, that's when I can draw. Alright, let's do this thing. So I'm going to try to go for a big continuous line up around. Let's see, I'm going to twist things here a little bit, so pardon me as I change perspective. There we go. Dean's got some feet. Hand's starting to buzz again. Nothing like shrugging a rib cage through your body. Okay. Now let's turn this right around. I think. How do I want to go? I want to go like this. Make sure that dries before I put my hand in it. In fact, I might as well just get hand protection. Okay, looks pretty clean. Now, am I pleased with the face? This is always the last thing I leave, because that is really what sells the whole drawing, is these three little lines that make up the face. Let's see. Yeah, so we'll make it slightly smaller. I think we'll just go for a little frowny. We don't need to have an open mouth, I don't think. Clean up some of that graphite. Even though it is water soluble, I still like to tidy up as I go, so there's little stuff, because when I scan these things later on, everything shows up. So the more tidy up I can do as I go, especially before I layer any watercolors in, tends to help. Okay. Let's just pick up a little bit more of that. Okay, and let's get that face done. There we go. Bean in paint. So, time to paint Bean. My primary color that I used for him is a Daniel Smith Serpentine Genuine. Let's hope this doesn't explode. Because I need to refill my little watercolor.
I gotta check.
Whoa, there it goes. I don't know why, but sometimes they build up pressure over time. There we go. Get a big fat dollop of that stuff in there. Clean off the threads so I can do this guy up again. Sealed. Okay. This is my little pipette for moving around. Water content. Alright, I'm gonna thin that out. That's really thick. Okay, that's good. We got a thin and a thick side of the puddle. I'm gonna get my palette cleaned up here because I want to get a darker green nearby. A little bit cleaner. Yeah, that's the right kind of tone. Time for some slightly darker green now. We'll let this the R in here, R there, as well as, yeah, we'll do an even darker underneath here yarn. So that's our medium green. We got a kind of turquoise over here. We love this color. It granulates so nicely with watercolor. Okay, that's pretty good too. That'll do. Okay, let's dive in. Yeah, I'm gonna clean just a little bit more. This graphite, especially around the eyes. You know what? Let's burn it out. Okay, and there we go. All right, no time like the present. Let's dive in. Because I can sit here considering way too much before I just drop it down. Okay, now it's time for some dark stuff. Okay, so that's our highlight. We'll let that bleed into that area. Too much bleed. Okay, so that's our base layer for Bean. We'll let them dry at this point. Let's see if I don't put too much moisture in there. Cool, we'll let it dry. Alright, so I ran the painting under a hairdryer for a couple minutes after it dried a bit. If you use a hairdryer too quickly, it'll blow apart all the cool pigments that you get down here. And I didn't want that. Let's see. I want to do a couple more dark spots down here because it's a little bit too light for my taste. So let's get a little more of that dark stuff. Where's my test card? That's more like it. Cool, cool, cool. Okay. Maybe just a tiny bit more. One last one. So I'm just dropping in a little shadow underneath of our friend here. That's his elbow. That's his belly. And that's about it. Well, maybe just a little bit of it right down here too. Okay. And now we have to wait for the watercolor just to dry some more. Not bad, not bad, not bad. Yeah, I'm gonna give just another little coat to the face. There we go. Okay. What the heck, just a little bit darker right there. There we go. Off for more drying. Back once again. So, the character being is done here, and now I need to make some dangerous choices. I think I'm going to put a massive blue wash around him. I think the blue will suit his mood quite nicely. So I think we'll do a heavy blue wash down to about midpoint, which will fade it out to some clear. And I think we'll probably drop in like some sort of yellow or orange. Yeah, an orangey kind of ready base to post to the blue. Then we can get some nice pop of colors that should make them fly off the page at the same time. So, no time like the present to dive in and paint a whole lot of blue. I got my Verditer blue and an ultramarine blue. Verditer blue. I don't know why, but I really like that name. So I'm gonna make some space because I need a big puddle for this because I'm using a huge brush. This brush is gonna soak up a ton. Oh, look at that guy. It's my Da Vinci Cassiano number 6 quill brush. I love this thing. Okay. Let's get our brush with no bubbles. No bubbles. Let's Verditer it. That's already a good, nice puddle. Let's flesh that out, some drops. Okay. No time like the present to dive right the hell in. Maybe I'll just go for a much heavier blue down to the bottom here. Maybe that's what we need. So I used to have troubles doing this kind of stuff because my hands used to shake so much from the nerve pain I was going through. But it's so much freeing now to be able to sit upright for, even just for a couple hours in the morning after having done the amount of work I've done on my body, that I can now just enjoy doing the work. I mean, there'll be physio like hell this afternoon, but I'll have made a bean. So as long as I paint something in a day, I don't feel like I've wasted my day. Okay. That's a nice wash. That'll work. That will do. Oh, I want to fix that area right in here. And some of this. Cool. Yay. Now we're going to let that dry. Although, you know what? That blue actually looks kind of nice where it's covered over. Yeah, let's do some of that. Excuse me. My diaphragm moves sometimes. Nature of moving a rib cage and your hips inside your body. It's connected to everything. Okay, that's pretty. Let's clean my brushes and leave them out to dry properly, because these things work best if I look after them. Let's get another dry one. shape them up for next time. And leave them out to dry in a nice spot. Not just like that. That's being in pain. I'm gonna go dry this. Let's see what it looks like.